Welcome back for seconds as we go back up to the buffet for a short review of Stray. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel, and let's dive in. Stray is a short puzzle/exploration game from BlueTwelve Studios. The opening of the game does a really great job of introducing you to the main character, a silent, nameless orange cat. It does a wonderful job of making you feel like a cat by really doubling down on some of the most familiar cat behaviors. One of the things that struck me right away is the atmosphere and the overall presentation. The sound design and music score really helped to create a cohesive and believable world. But as I mentioned on the podcast, I was really hoping for more music or just some more memorable tracks. But more on that in a minute. The world of Stray has impeccable art direction, which makes it a joy to look at and explore. It's clear the developers put a lot of thought into the environmental storytelling, and the game world does a lot to help ground the story. You can feel the decay of the world as you explore and talk to these strange robot citizens. One thing I really love is that you can take these little cat naps in various spots around the world, and you literally just take a nap. And the camera kind of slowly pans out and gives you a really nice kind of serene view. But you can still use the meow button in these scenes, which is pretty funny, and you kind of meow with your eyes closed, which is super cute. It's also kind of fun to use the meow button during some cutscenes because you can just keep pressing it and you'll keep meowing even though there's a story moment happening. The story unfolds slowly as you speak to and help the inhabitants of this world. It's slowly paced, but I never found it boring. It always kept me interested in wanting to discover more clues about what had happened to the people in this world. The robots all seem to behave as though they are trying to mimic the behavior of a real person, which creates an intriguing mystery. Why are these robots performing these seemingly mundane tasks over and over again? The way you communicate with the robots comes in the form of your own little robot companion, B12, and a little backpack that you're given early on in the game.
Man, they also the 3D audio is really good.
As soon as you put the vest on, he's like, I don't know how to walk anymore.
And then he does that walk, the cat walk that all cats do.
Oh, that's the attention to detail.
I don't like this.
Your little robot drone companion provides you with a simple inventory and allows you to access various controls that a cat could not normally do. I grew very fond of my little robot buddy, and the story uses that to great effect. I found the story left just enough unanswered questions that it had me wanting a sequel to fill in the gaps. The emotional payoff is really great, and it's a very bittersweet ending, and to what amounted to be about a 5.5 hour journey for me. I think what people will enjoy the most about this is just being a cat. You can knock stuff off ledges, you can scratch the carpet and scratch the walls, and there's a dedicated meow button, which is a super cute touch. You can tell that this game was made by people who really love cats. While the game's puzzles aren't that challenging, it's really a nice change of pace to play something that's a little bit more relaxed and doesn't have any violence and isn't a hack and slash kind of game. The game does a really nice job of incorporating your cat behaviors into the puzzles themselves. For example, there's one instance when you have to turn on a bunch of computers, and the way you go about that is you have to walk all over the keyboard, essentially waking the computers up. It's these little things that make your cat feel like they're just behaving as a normal, curious feline as you solve the puzzles. Stray is not a challenging game in terms of its gameplay, but it can be a bit clunky at times due to how it implements its jumping. To jump from a ledge, you have to first look at the ledge and wait for an icon to appear, and once that appears, then you can hit the button and then you'll jump to that surface. It amounts to exploring an area by looking at all the ledges to see where you can hop to. It's a great game for people that aren't too comfortable using a game controller, as you don't need to be super precise for most of the game. There are a few sections when you have to outrun these kind of creepy facehugger head crab looking creatures, and it can be a bit frustrating to try and jump with any sense of speed or urgency when you have to first adjust the camera, look at the ledge, or look at the surface, then hit the button. It works, but it could be a little bit better, a little bit smoother. The movement does mimic how a real cat actually moves though, and it does it surprisingly well. It gets that kind of split second precision timing where cats kind of wiggle around and then jump and pounce. It nails that pretty well. One thing I was not expecting was I've died so many times in other games that it's not a big deal, but for some reason dying in this game, which can happen because there's these little creatures that can kill you, I don't know, it just feels worse in some way and a little bit more sad. It's a little bit more disturbing. This does, however, highlight one of the weaknesses of the game, its animations. Overall, they're pretty good, but they do feel a bit stiff, especially for the main character. It never really took me out of the experience, but it's not as polished as it could be, and it's kind of a surprising oversight given that the entire game is based around being a cat and acting as realistically as possible as a cat. It's one of the things I hope they improve in a sequel, if there is a sequel to this. The only other area I thought could improve is the music. While I enjoyed what was there, it was very understated, and I just thought there wasn't enough of it when I was playing. I wanted more. It's possible I missed some of the music as I was playing because it kind of just melts into the background soundscape. I just wanted more of it and something a little bit more prominent. The sound design is really well done and creates a really spooky atmosphere and a great overall presentation. Overall, I really enjoyed the game and its setting. It's a grimy cyberpunk aesthetic, and it feels a lot more cyberpunk than Cyberpunk 2077 ever did. I'll definitely be heading back for seconds with Stray. We'll see you on the next one.